Magnum Carlsberg, world number one, using the massive water vase to get those fluids on board because he's in for a battle. Alireza Firouzja with white, kicking off with knight f3, building the banana hammock. It's super solid. Magnus so impressed he copies. It's a title Tuesday battle, played September 9th, an incredible finish to come, plus a brilliancy in the middle. Let's dive in. Online chess, best players in the world, really exciting battle as Alireza explodes with c4, and now the knights start entering the game. Castles, it's solid stuff. Alireza keeping his coach, very proud. Now we see the bishop stream out, pawn h3, knight f6. A horse box is on the board. We absolutely love to see it. Pawn d3, castles, and now both players got their bits out. It's move 9. This is elite grandmother chess. a6 is played. Alireza now copies. Both players doing a ton of copycat chess here. Danny Wrench absolutely loves it. There with his good friend as well. The pawn's about to expand, and it's what we see. Takes. They're blitzing out moves. Before you can make any more progress, Alireza now kicks on. He wears the most incredible shoes. He knows how to run fast with the pawns. And after queen d7, about to crash through, king h2 looking very natural, but not best. This move is expanding, kicking back the bishop, and then hopping with vengeance to pick up the bishop pair. Magnus has to cede it. He has foreseen this though. He's going for a complicated game. Queen recaptures, pawn e3, gets me wondering, is he going to rotate around, that sort of thing, open up the bishop. d4 could be coming at the right moment, and d5, rich position, and h5 makes it even more crazy. You could already expand here. Big threat to fork queen and piece. Or you could even play this pawn structure, but none of it occurred. Alireza kicks on with pawn g5, sidelines this knight. Dad's absolutely ashamed. What are you doing back here? Well, putting pressure on this pawn. And if you go for this, well, it's a bit of a weakening move. You know, the queen can move soon. Knight rotates to f8, back into the game. And if you go for this, well, it's terribly weakening. You can actually give up this bishop to crash through. So you can't cover this with a pawn. Alireza centralizes the knight, therefore, and Magnus fights back with this one. Given the miss, but really it's a very complicated game. Queen e2, b3, the preferred move of the stock barnacle overlord, but not played. Alireza does this, opening the queen's defense. It would be hanging, but the knight covers it, but the knight also covers the pawn. Magnus's spidey senses are tingling. He sacrifices the rook on c3. Awesome chess to behold. Crashing through here. The knights are swarming. No time for f4 stuff. Or you take here with check. Say you do this. Well, knight g4. None of the tactics are working for white here. So instead in the game, we get the move of pawn d4. Kicking that knight. And if you dare to play it into c4, well then you get hit with this. And suddenly, where's he going? Back here. You know, white starts coming into the game, taking over. You don't want this in blitz chess. So Magnus understandably takes on h3. We get king h1. No king h2, by the way. Or then you run into the check once more. If takes, well then the queen streams in and the bishop joins the attack. You can try block out. But you're getting a bit ripped to shreds and the knight drops here. So, in the game, king h1. Now, the safe move is bringing the knight here. Black a teeny weeny bit better. But Magnus goes for this epic complication, allowing takes, sacking two knights for a bishop here. He is now an entire rook down, but he's picking up a lot of pawns. The man cave has been entirely ripped to shreds. This queen exchange offered. Magnus normally loves it, but declines it here. Don't block like this. Lose a knight. So in the game, the rook blocks. Rook c8, very natural. Knight rotating now. also covering the centre, but what an epic rook lift. Magnus is in fantastic shape. King g1 played, the queen re-centralises, triple whammying that pawn, and Alireza just abandons it with rook f1. Now you can take here, leads to a liquidation, something along these lines, right? Game is rumbling on. Rook down, but 5 pawns for it. But this isn't how it played out. We saw this move instead, trying to cement everything, keep complications. Alireza now goes for an attacking idea by rotating his queen. You know, he could technically stay with this pawn, offer an exchange, but he loves to get aggressive. Let's hover around the black monarch, try and crash through, even give a pawn. Queen h3, and Magnus does get a bit spooked. What's Alireza got planned here? We know he's so tricky. There's a lot of forces lined up. Who knows if the knight joins the party? So Magnus goes for an exchange. We see the captures. Queen takes back with check. King h2. Queen re-centralizing. A black widow spider. Love a centralized, strong queen. Incredible. Queen b3 played. And not only does it hit the b5 pawn, but don't get too distracted. This is the bigger threat. So king g7, pawn drops. Now we get the check, and this is awesome because Magnus can make a threefold repetition here, but he does not do so. He lops this one off the board. He's now got 5 pawns versus 1 rook. What an incredible imbalance here. Checking this king once more. The queen now slides down here. King h2. Magnus does not want the draw. Wants to play this one out. He plays queen e5 check. Lopping the queens off the board now. Leaving this 5 on rook. And he goes to play this move. But then just holds back. It is the absolute best move, because you block the king out from making any more progress at all. And if you come this way with the king, well, now king f6, and you're prepared to really start running these pawns fast. King's looking a bit sidelined. It's very, very difficult. But in the game, g5, not the right square, because king f3, and there's a double threat to take this pawn, but also step in with the king. So we see the king step up and cover, but now king f5, and you'd love to kick it away like this, but you can't. This pawn drops. So Magnus has to play the smelly f6. This is the moment from the thumbnail. It's a level position, but it does not end in a draw. We see bloodshed. The pawn is attacked. Magnus ignores. If you dare to capture this, well, this one kicks on. You're not in time to get back with either piece here. So that would be a queen. So running back, pawn not touched. Alireza steps back into this box here. Now we see Magnus kicking on with the e pawn. This one now comes in, about to take the h pawn, and you can't actually stop that, but you can get flowing through the centre. This is how the game proceeded. f5. Magnus has lost a pawn, but still it is a drawn position. We see rook a5. What should Magnus do? Wait with the king. Very difficult to crack through this fortress. Real shield phalanx of foot soldiers. But this was played. Now the king steps in. f4, king g4, e5, king exposed, checking begins. Now this is how the game proceeded. And after rook b6, you have to wait with the king on g7. Have to stay connected with the g pawn as well as the e pawn. Magnus goes this way. So ambitious all the time. He allows the rook in, and things are getting bad. He's now lost 2 of his 5 pawns. Steps in, rook saves itself, but amazingly, there is still a drawing line here. Now the best move for white is this waiting move of rook g5. Could do rook h1, but this is a lot easier to explain and understand, because if you advance here, well, we just take one of those pawns. If you advance here, well, you just bring the rook back around, and you're going to start stopping stuff, munching stuff. And if you just try and wait with the king, stay with this pawn, well, now you take with check. King goes somewhere, then you pick up here, and you're ready to pick up this one. But in the game, Alireza immediately takes, and it's not check. This is a key detail because black now has a winning move here. Can you guess it? The move is pawn f3. Endgames are so tricky because the king wants to take one of these pawns, then you lose a rook, it's a draw. If you try and bring the rook somewhere around, let's say, well, the pawns are really running now, and this is unstoppable. Black wins. So coming back here, this is a drawn position. Rook d5 check, but you have to play the right king move. Magnus does not. What's the move here? It's king stepping this way, and white's got nothing better but to keep checking. The king steps this way, but now rook d1. What's the critical difference? Well, if Magnus pushes with the pawn, there's now a really important check. If the king was on e6, you don't have that check. You actually lose the game. But with the king here, you check, it moves, and now you take this pawn just in time. You're ready to collect this one. You finish out the checkmate. Incredible final position and moments in the endgame. Hope you enjoyed, and have a look at the video on screen if you want to see another incredible game of chess. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon. Cheers.